All right, guys, welcome back to Middle American Outdoors Fireside Chats. It looks like it's up on YouTube and both of the Facebook links. If you guys can hear whatever site you're on, if you'll just let us know that it's going. We'll keep our fingers crossed that we don't have a lot of audio difficulties tonight. Hopefully. I mean, anybody on there? I see you. Hey, Butch. Good to see you. Let us know if you can hear it. Well, shoot. So this is week 18 or episode 18, I believe, for the Middle American Outdoors Fireside Chats. And we just got back yesterday from the 3-day Nebraska Deer Game Expo. We're just going to do a little wrap up on the expo and what it was like for us, and a little push for the expo for next year. But we're starting. We got the whole crew here. We got Ben and Jake both on. Let me bring in and straighten it up, it looks like. There it is. Now the names match the faces. So, cool. What have you guys been up to? I mean, we'll get into the expo, but anything going on in life?
We just had a big drawing tonight for the Veterans Creed. We had that hog hunt raffle, and made somebody's year a whole lot better.
No joke.
Yeah, for sure. I've just been working, of course.
Yeah.
Nothing new for me, really.
Cool. Good to see the guys that are on. Alex, if you can hear it on YouTube, let us know. The other two, we can see that it's coming through on Facebook links. Hunting wise, anybody's been hunting? I don't think any of us have been hunting recently.
We talked about maybe doing a little squirrel hunting and some shed hunting coming up this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back in and full cards again, get cameras back set for shed season and stuff like that. And then maybe some will cross an antler. You never know. So
yeah.
I'll be doing Saturday, I believe. I'll try to take the family in just for a quick little mock walk, and it'll be pretty fun if the weather is good.
Yeah, that's the big thing. If that weather's crappy, I'm staying home. I've dealt with it enough this year.
Yeah.
Especially after this weekend.
They say you guys might have a little bit of an echo. Let's really hope not. That I really hope it doesn't come across on the audio that bad for the podcast.
But it's highly likely it's me. I don't have my earpiece in, and it ain't working for some reason.
Yeah. We're going to look more into our audio setups. I think we're going to continue to do this. Such a headache. But I obviously have not been hunting. Last Monday, we talked about the end of late rifle season here in Nebraska for antlerless. And then it was all prep for the expo. And then, obviously that's where all of our time went. And we didn't sneak out of the expo to try to go hunting or nothing. We pretty much lived there for a few days. Looks like we lost Ben.
I'm still here. Had somebody try calling me.
That's funny. But they did announce in Nebraska that they're extending the river antlerless tags. I don't have one. I don't know. I weigh back and forth. I feel like I'm pretty Brexton, we'll get to that in a minute. I feel like I'm pretty tired from the hunting season, honestly. And there's a lot of finishing up to do with the deer hunting videos from the three of us toward the end of the year that we haven't gotten to yet. And maybe take my time and try to get through that stuff and gear up for turkey season. I've never really hunted turkeys hard. Shot a couple in western Nebraska just on opportunity that we were out doing something else and had a turkey tag in our pocket just in case we stumbled across them, but not a lot of actual dedicated time to hunting turkeys, so that'll be interesting to try to film. Shed hunting, I like to take the kids, and Megan likes to go and take the kids, so we usually wait till, into February, beginning of March, when it's maybe going to start warming up a little bit. I know, Jake, you're hoping to get after that set from the buck that you wounded, hoping he'll shed early.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Never know. Like I said, I was going to try to get in there this week and this weekend and just check that camera and just, maybe I'll see one that's shed, maybe not. I normally don't find any until mid-February, which that's probably normal. It's just never early. I keep seeing people finding them on Facebooks and stuff like that. Facebook, I should say, but I'm not trying to be old and put an S behind everything. YouTube's and Facebooks, but yeah. So hopefully the trail camera will tell me yes or no if he's there or not.
Ecamm. It's Skype to Ecamm, Ecamm to Restream. So we're working on a different platform. We had a good conversation with the Sandhill shooter, or I should say not we. Had a good conversation with the Sandhill shooter, John. They run the Get Off My Lawn podcast here in Nebraska, and they have a little bit less technical setup than we do. So I think when our subscription runs out on these platforms, we're going to be looking at switching over something maybe a little bit easier. Thanks for being there and the work we put in. Chris was on a few weeks ago. He's the host of the expo, and definitely, Chris, thanks for putting it on. Thanks for inviting us. We did have a lot of fun. I probably speak for all three of us. It was exhausting.
Yeah.
I know it looks like I probably talk a lot, but honestly, I've never talked that much in my life for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
But it was good to get out of your comfort zone and get some experience doing that. Hopefully we'll be able to continue to do something like that in the future. Let's see. And if you got any stories you want to share from your late season hunting, or if you got some big plans, let us know. We don't have a ton of like high specific content for the week here. We're just, like I said, we're going to wrap up the expo, and then next week we're going to dive back into our topic based fireside chats for the most part, and get to seeing you there. You had to help a buddy move. Was looking for you. Same with Timothy Wilson. If you get on, buddy, we were looking for you. We were sad not to see you guys there. The expo specific, I'll just start out with a plug for next year. The next year's expo is scheduled for, still on, you can correct me, I believe he said it's the third weekend in January every year, so it'd be January 14th, 15th, and 16th of 2022 at the Lancaster Event Center in Lincoln. If we'll be there, we'll see. I think we're gonna try. It's just we got to talk through a lot of stuff. We'll be there in some manner. I'm just not sure if we're gonna have a booth and go that route again or not, or what we're gonna do. But for now, we're just gonna plug that it's out there, and then talking about. I'm gonna say goodnight. So you guys got to give me a minute. It looks like.
All
You want to say hi? Who's that?
See you this weekend.
Who's that guy?
Uncle Jay.
Yeah, and there's Ben.
Your cousin, Uncle Jay.
Cousin Jake.
You say hi?
Hi.
This is Joanna. She's going to be the rock star as she gets older for the hunting content.
It's too loud.
Huh.
Yeah.
Are you going to bed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me a hug. Good night.
Good night.
Love you.
Good night.
Night. Kids are great.
Joanna or Megan brought all the kids down on Sunday afternoon as a surprise, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, Joanna and Levi really like looking at the mounts. Joanna's got expensive taste in blinds.
So is Aunt Carly.
Yeah. Oh, that redneck one. That's the one that they really loved. But, so anyway, next year, January 14, 15, 16, 2022, let's pray that the pandemic stuff's over. I know the masks issues was a big headache over the weekend. I thought about wearing my mask for the podcast just for, I'm just so used to talking in it now.
Yeah.
Honestly, not a big deal for me because I wear one all day, every day in the clinic. So I'm completely used to it, but I understand the headache that was going on with the event center, and it's unfortunate that there was so many people that just for everybody else basically.
Yeah.
But I was able to get through. If you've seen some of the news articles and stuff about it, it seemed like the event center was pretty happy with the way it went. Yeah, from our perspective, Ben, what would be your? I didn't show you guys the outline, so it's going to be like just pop quizzing. What would be your, main impression from the event? First impression.
I think considering everything that, between the weather and the pandemic, the mask and all that, I think it was a pretty darn good showing. I've been to a lot of those expos, and they're usually a lot busier, but I think it turned out better than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say, Jake?
I don't know. They have some.
What's that, Ben?
Oh, I was just gonna say that there's some great vendors there. Everybody seemed to be pretty good mood and plenty to do. Stuff for the kids to do. It was just a pretty good show overall.
Yeah.
Oh, first impression. Well, that being my first one was pretty awesome. Getting to talk to everybody, put names to faces and face to names, whatever you want to call it. Getting to look at all the new technology, new gadgets, seeing quite a few things that I'm really interested in, looking forward to getting. And as far as like seminar wise went, I think that went really well for us. Could have been better, as you guys both know. If maybe if it had been more open or something, that's my impression. I think it could have been better, but that's just the way it is. We got it recorded, so hopefully we can put that up. The audio turned out great, by the way.
Good.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it next year, booth or not. I'll be there for sure. It was put on very well, and they did a really good job. So, yeah, more Busch Light. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, I don't think at a Nebraska outdoorsman banquet you can run out of Busch Light. I'm sorry. That's rough.
Yeah, it was rough. That one was pretty rough.
But I echo what these guys say. We definitely went into it completely blind, not even having been to an expo before, let alone run a booth and put on seminars. I've done public speaking and educational seminars like that for medical, but certainly never in the outdoorsman world. I've talked to Chris. The seminar timings were just kind of tough, and it was tough on everybody. It wasn't just where we were, Middle American Outdoors, like Jared Scheffler from Whitetail Adrenaline put on a seminar, and there's like 2 people in there. And it was just tough. I think our last seminar was Saturday afternoon, and we had a chance to interact with a lot of people. Saturday mid-morning to early afternoon was definitely the busiest time at the seminar or at the expo. And for that part of the day, we got the opportunity to talk to a lot of people. And invite them to the seminar for a more in-depth discussion on the gear. And so we actually had a really good turnout for the last one, which just happens to be the one we recorded as well. And like Jake said, we're going to work on, I'm going to get that video and we're going to try to edit it up and not just play me talking. I'm going to try to cut in the videos into the edit and make it feel more like you're actually at the seminar looking at the screen or those kind of things so you can see it better. Well, what else? I thought the numbers really good. Obviously, Friday was tough. Chris has got bad luck, man. 2 years of the Nebraska Deer Game Expo, and Friday weather has been brutal.
Yeah.
This year, I drove, we all drove through the blizzard, just complete whiteout blizzard in Nebraska. It made for quite the interesting drive down to Lincoln on Friday. Thankful to get there safe, all of us. And the turnout wasn't bad, though, on Friday because I think, the people that lived in Lincoln, it wasn't really hard to get to the expo, especially after the snow kind of stopped and the wind was just blowing. Last year, they had a major ice storm, so even the people in Lincoln couldn't get around. So they basically had nobody through the door on Friday. A little bit better, it sounded like this year. Saturday seemed really good up until when the playoffs started. It kind of died off after that. And then Sunday, the numbers really never got too high, and it just felt like it was, football games or people were gearing up for football game or whatever, especially with the Chiefs playing on Sunday early. But I think it was perfect for us. It wasn't overwhelming. Occasionally we had maybe 3 groups at the booth that we could all handle separately. Never completely overwhelmed. See the vendors. We're able to talk to a lot of vendors about, even potential opportunities with Middle American Outdoors and open some doors there and just have really good conversations. It was great networking for us. And above all, getting to meet people. I wish I could remember the fellow's name. You guys remember the youth bow winner from Beatrice? It was like William Turner, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think his dad's name was Adam. But they were able. He didn't win a bow, but he got a package of gear from us. They came by the booth, and that was really cool to get to meet him and talk to the kid. Again in the fall. Let's see. Let me look at some comments quick before we move on. Butch Pence on Facebook says, tried turkey hunting for the first time last spring, was a blast, even though it was unsuccessful. Butch is up in Bemidji. What kind of turkeys do you have up in Bemidji area, Butch? And if that's where you're hunting, maybe you destination hunted, but. Big Schlong goes on again and getting after it. Good to see you, man. You can comment all you want. I'll try to keep up with the stuff, but I'm glad you're on again. We appreciate the loyalty. I promise, buddy.
I know what he's talking about.
I have an idea.
Let's see.
It might be something like that.
Yeah. What was your guys' favorite part of the weekend? Would you say what was your favorite interaction or what stands out to you on the interaction side of it?
I was really looking forward to talking to Matt out on limb again. I met him a few years ago at the Monster Buck Classic down in Kansas, and really, I absolutely love his products. And I have a similar background, and he's got a bunch of new stuff coming out that I was really anxious to put my hands on before I go spend money on it. And needless to say, I walked away with some product. But yeah, I was really looking forward to meeting him. A few of the outfitters that I was wanting to talk to were there, so that was nice to kind of sit down and talk to them. I'm wanting to get out and do some hunts that I've always wanted to do, and just I was getting to that point in my life where I better do them or I never will. So that was really nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to talk to those guys in person and, and really put it, like Jake said, put a face to the name, and,
Absolutely.
It always works better that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How about you, Jake?
Yeah, of course. I haven't shot 3D in so long. I really enjoyed that experience. They did a great. I mean, targets were great. Everything seemed pretty great. I think it was Prairie Sportsman or Prairie.
Lincoln Prairie Bowman.
Yeah, those guys did a heck of a job. It was kind of a first experience for me to shoot indoor 3D. I think we all had fun doing it. Troy had fun. Terry had a good time. And then as far as booths wise, probably top favorite was definitely that Jack, that bow sling that you had, Matt. I walked off and did not buy one. Definitely going to, just not at the right place right now. Probably up online or something like that and try to get one off there. But yeah, that's a cool gadget, and everybody will probably be seeing that on Matt's bow if he ever does a video about it.
Yeah, I'll definitely do.
Put one up. I love that thing.
Yeah.
I picked one up too.
Yeah, just that big bull, Joel Helmer, I think it was, right? Is it Joel Helmer?
Joel Helmer's daughter.
Yeah, that was pretty dang impressive, and just all in all, just a great time.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
430-inch Nebraska bull.
Yeah,
it's really cool to see that in person.
Yeah.
Just pictures don't do it justice.
Ate up his 10x10 booth.
The whole thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. As far as like favorite interactions, I really enjoyed talking to. I really enjoyed talking to like the H&H Outdoors guys. They're really fun to talk to about their supplements and everything that they're doing. Our first two seminars, we had just one guy in each one, so it was a lot more intimate, and we didn't really do like necessarily lecture style. We just were able to talk to that guy and get to more of their questions while still trying to get through our content for them. First night we spent time with the guy that's with I wish I had looked it up beforehand, but it's up by Sioux City, Iowa, and they're custom gun manufacturing. And we talked to him several times throughout the weekend. I think he's going to produce some content that we're going to host on MAO, which will be really fun, especially considering the three of us aren't necessarily gun guys. Ben definitely understands all about guns with service background and everything, but he's not quick to hunt with a gun guy anyway. So that'd be cool content, good networking there, really nice guy. Saturday morning, we had Kurt Newharth with Crazy Daisy Popcorn was there, and Jake and I had a great time talking with him, and yeah, he's just addicting to talk to. I think we both kept finding our way back to their booth just to talk to him some more, and he stopped by to get some information and stuff at the end, right before the expo was over. Same thing there. I think we're going to be interacting with him quite a bit, and I'd be honored to host some of his video content if he ends up, taking that dive into getting some gear and videoing his hunts. He's up in Yankton, South Dakota, so no doubt he's got some awesome whitetail hunting going on and everything else. And we got some Crazy Daisy's popcorn, which the kids just are loving. As well as Megan.
Chocolate.
Yeah. And then I had written down too, so when I put in for an elk tag every year, I put in for the Hat Creek unit. I specifically just looked up outfitters, and I went through a lot of outfitters in western Nebraska, and I really was impressed with Balancing Arrow outfitters. And so I've always put in for the Hat Creek, knowing that if I drew, I'm going there. And we got the opportunity to meet Dana Bokelman, and I'm head over heels that there's absolutely no doubt that's where I'm going now after meeting him. Just A+ dude, just continued to give crap back and forth all weekend. He was pretty close to our booth, and you know, he's a self-bow guy, so he's king of the crop in his male machoism. But yeah, we just had fun joshing back and forth with him and getting to know him and talking about if we could film there and different stories that he had. And it was kind of when the crowd had died down and the vendors are just kind of hanging out. And man, I had a ton of fun meeting that guy, and I'm just absolutely sold, not only on, you know, the size of their ranch and what they produce out of their ranch, his management stuff he talked about, and just his personality. And Jake was there. I think Ben and I had to go home on Saturday early, but Jake and I had a good time listening to his stories and whatnot. Those are the three that probably, you know, stand out to me the most for interactions. 3 or 4 I listed off there. It's always awesome to see Chris Edwards in person. You know, he's super busy at that deal, but the small conversations we got to have with him it's always awesome to talk to him. And all the people that came in the booth, we've said that over and over. We just constant flow of people, of great conversations, sharing hunting stories, looking at gear, sharing self-filming stories. I was really blown away by the amount of late bloomer hunters like myself who found their way to our booth, which I took as really encouraging. Yeah, and it was really encouraging that it was like, I mean, they must know kind of what we do, that they found their way there, and to get to talk to them. And not just late bloomer hunters, there's a large number of people that grew up rifle hunting that bought a bow in the last month, and they all said they can't afford ammo anymore. like one after the other, that was what they were saying. It was kind of shocking, I guess. I wasn't expecting that, but we're all archery passionate, so it was cool to see all these people wanting to get into archery. And let's see, what else? What about some like favorite booth or some, like, you know, something you did there, activity, whatever? You don't have to talk about 3D because I've got that listed down later. What do you think, Ben, for like what stands out as, you know, outside of out on a limb, you know, a booth that really you're really intrigued by or interested in?
I can't remember what the name of the company was, but there was one there that had seed for like food plots. I spent a pretty good amount of time there talking to them guys. They really seemed to have their stuff together. And they were really, I don't want to word this. They were really willing to, you know, to help out with what I have, what I'm wanting to do, what my goals are. Like, they really seemed to ask the right questions on, you know, make sure I got the right product, you know, that's going to produce the best for me. Probably be working with them here in the near future, getting ready for doing my food plots this spring. So that was, you know, like I said, that's deer hunting for us. So, you know, that was something that's kind of was at the forefront of my mind going into it. You know, getting ready for the next part of the season for me is, you know, food plots coming up here soon. So I really enjoyed the conversation I had with them guys, and they were real knowledgeable. I wish I had the name of their company on me. But you know, took a card from them and brochure with all their products, and so I'm looking forward to talking to them guys here coming up. So that was probably my favorite one aside from Out of Limb.
Yeah, I talked to those guys too, Ben. I was blown away with the options they had, the varieties. I don't run food plots, but if I were to, I would definitely go with those guys. They had just every blend you can imagine that you would want there at their booth, and which was very great. And like Matt said earlier, like first impression and personal relations, you know, talking wise, I think the H&H guys at H&H Outdoors did a very good job. They're very personal. They're just fun guys to talk to for sure. That was definitely my favorite booth. They about got me convinced to buy a feeder there, and I was super close. But and I don't think we ended up winning that one. I don't know when they did the drawing for that, but they're doing a giveaway there. And it was good talking with people that are kind of like ourselves, like yourself. But what about you, Matt?
Vendors as well.
Yeah.
You guys covered good
Elevated
ones. Go ahead.
We had a good talk with the elevation that what was it? Club brand. Elevated, yeah. We talked with them guys for a little bit, me and Matt, and they seem like pretty good guys too. Definitely, they give back their clothing business. They give back warriors or veterans and stuff like that. But
yeah, they kind of encompass what we do between MAO and VCO, getting along basically through Ben. They were selling merch with X% of proceeds going toward funding stuff like VCO and getting veterans outdoors and whatnot. But they're out of Texas, and it's a big commitment for them. And I know they'll be back there next year. They might be at Deer Classic in Iowa, not in 2021, but in 2022. They said. But very cool. Like, definitely agree with Jake. I'll go with the Jack's Gear guy, just because these guys covered a lot of other good ones. The Jack guy was the bow sling guy, and like Ben said, we both have it, and we'll do a review on what we think of it. It was really cool. I mean, they're heavy duty paracord bow slings that they have different magnet setups to get the sling out of the way. And I told these guys, like, I've always been a bow over the shoulders kind of guy and just keep a hand on it basically. But the ability of this sling, what sold me was when he swung it around and he rested his arms on it and he was glassing comfortably and steady. Like, we don't get to do a lot of Western hunting, but if we ever do, at least I'll have a good sling for it now. They had other cool features for it too. They had a clip that goes on your backpack, so when you throw the sling over your shoulder, you strap that clip over, and you don't have to worry about your sling sliding off all of a sudden. You just pop that string and sling the bow around, and you're good to go. That quick. Just a really cool thing. Had a lot of really cool colors. It wasn't overly bulky. Wasn't overly crazy expensive or anything either. And like I said, they had several different options of ways to make sure that it locks and stays out of the way of your cams and your limb system when you're shooting, which is really cool. So we'll give those guys a nod on as far as a booth that stood out to us. Next one's gonna be, I think, good. What do you guys got? Any funny stories from the weekend? I'll let Jake go. He's got the king of the funny stories, I think.
yeah. We as far as everybody knows, like Ben's wearing a hat there. We what's that noise? Kind of partnered up with we didn't kind of. We partnered up with Deer Supply Company, and we have for a while, carrying their goods and kind of eventually marketing them, getting the word out there for him. It's a bug repellent, family safe, safe on the kids, everything like that. It doesn't contain DEET. A lady comes up and asking questions, and I really thought she was very interested. They were asking in-depth questions about it, and her husband seemed pretty interested, or her friend, whoever she was with, and was really selling it and gave him the 40% off code to use. And then she asked, does it contain DEET? Like, she had a curious, concerning question. So, of course, we say no, because it does not. And I was proud to say that it did not contain DEET. And she just goes off, and she wants all the DEETs, she said. She likes the chemicals. She likes putting them on her kids or whatever she does. And it was just hilarious. Her husband dragged her away. It was pretty fun. It was just a funny situation to be in. Just because I thought I was really selling it, and she really wanted the deets, and there was no turning her mind away from that. So I just let her walk, and it was quite hilarious.
I was talking to somebody on the other side of the table, and so Jake just happens to be on my good ear side, and I'm picking up what they're saying. I'm like having a horrible time trying to keep focus because I'm like, what in the heck? Next thing I know, the guys I'm talking to were all watching, like, What?
Eat.
This guy's
Yeah.
dragging his wife away, and she's still screaming, "I want all
Give
the
me-
chemicals.
Give me the deets.
Give me the D." Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah. Keep on walking.
What about you, Ben? You got any good stories?
Well, it was kind of myself. It was a little bit embarrassing. That was
Don't
during that
share my
3D
story.
shoot. Huh? You telling your story?
No, go ahead.
I about halfway through it. Well, it was 25 targets, 2 arrows per target, and so we were trying to hurry through it. And I was halfway through it. I'm getting pretty wore out because it's just one shot after the other. And so that was kind of a new experience. To usually do a 3D shoot, you got, it takes a few hours to do it as you walk between targets. But I drew back and realized that I didn't adjust my sight, and I didn't know what the range was. So I went to let down, and I bumped the trigger, and it went off, and I shot the antlers off another target, and then the second shot, when I hit the target, it hit it so hard that it knocked the antlers off that target. And the guy that was putting on, I said, "Good Lord," he goes, "You keep this up, you're gonna have to buy new antlers for all our targets." So it was a little bit embarrassing because I was shooting really well up until that point, and then I was all shook and kind of started going downhill a little bit after that. But it was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I did. I think and shot the arrows right there, the antlers right off that caribou target.
Yeah, mine would be outside of Jake's story, and watching Jake deal with that lady. When it was Sunday, like middle afternoon Sunday, Jake had to leave to get back to Kansas, and lady walks over to the booth and wants to start looking at the camera gear. And Ben and maybe Wyatt, Ben and one of his boys are standing there, and she just walks up, and I recognize her, so I'm like, "Hey, you want to criticize us? Go ahead. We need to learn." And she's like, "Oh no, I just want to look at your gear, real modest. My husband, he's kind of thinking about getting into a little bit of self film, and we just kind of want to look at some of your arms." And walked around and talked for a little while, looked at the stuff, asked a ton of questions, looked at the Deer Supply Company stuff, and he thanked us for our time and walked away. And Ben's like, "She had a lot of questions." I'm like, "You know who that was?" Like, no. Like, dude, that was Melissa Bachman. Just, like,
Clueless, absolutely
yeah.
clueless. Stupid face match, man.
Yeah. And she's not wearing a vendor tag. Like, she just wants to be almost as anonymous as possible. And for the people that don't know online, Chris talked about her. She's Winchester Deadly Passion as the TV show or the YouTube show, wherever the platform they're on. And she's a great ambassador for hunting in general, not just to subcategorize her to female hunting, but in general, and really brings kids into the outdoors. And Chris had talked about how she's the real deal, and she's at the market the whole time, and not just for her seminars and sign autographs, but I mean, if that isn't a testament to it, she modestly came to our booth and asked if she could look around and asked a bunch of questions and all this stuff. And the whole time I'm just like, holy crap.
Yeah, I had no idea that was. Well, about halfway through it, I was starting to pretty sure that's her.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be like, "Oh my God, it's Melissa Bachman," but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was just a real, Chris says it, but that was the example that he's not just blowing smoke. Like, she's really real deal. She's there as an ambassador for hunting, and her booth was busy the whole weekend, obviously, and she made time to walk over and look at our gear and make small talk, and it was really fun. Let's see. Well, I got to the dreaded topic of the 3D shoot. So, like we said, the 3D shoot was great. Ended up being 25 targets, 2 arrows each. They shot every other line. It was kind of a nuisance that you had to have a mask on. They allowed you to pull it down under your chin, but you still have straps. They were bothering me as a thumb release shooter. But they were bothering me. trying to get the string out of the way. It just felt weird. But you had to have them because as soon as you're done shooting, you had to throw it back on. Otherwise, they were going to get shut down after that first day. Targets, all different targets, pretty variable ranges. Had a spinning coon, which is kind of crazy, and like an elevated spinning coon. They had a pop-up turkey, which was another unique one, and longest shot was 38 yards, I think.
I think that elk was 38 yards crossways.
Shooting diagonally at a bedded elk. And Saturday morning, thinking, we'll be good. And then I had a heck of a time remembering what time our seminars were, apparently, and suddenly realized, oh, God, we got to go set up for a seminar in 15 minutes. So Jake and I busted out of there about a third of the way through the shooting and went back later, and it was busy to finish. But what was the bet, guys?
Shave it off.
The loser had the clean shave.
Yeah.
None of us normally do, I don't think.
Yeah, loser has to clean shave. Top of the year is down. So.
Bye-bye. Man, I haven't shaved since I was like, I don't even know.
It's going to take me 3 months to get this back.
When I haven't, a razor hasn't touched my face since I signed my ETS papers getting out of the Army. I was not looking forward to losing that one.
Yeah. The craziest part is we all shot and then we tallied it up, and dang, it was tight.
Yeah.
50 arrows, and we came down to 4 points between the winner and the loser. Ben shot 459, Jake shot 457, I shot 455. And we only had one challenger come over to challenge the MAO crew, Mike Rinchler from Archers in Nebraska. So our average was 457, and he shot 458.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
So you got a koozie out of us.
We're just losing. So, yeah, sometime this week, maybe tomorrow night, depends, tomorrow or Wednesday, I will answer Brexton's request, and I'll go live and take care of that. Or maybe I'll just do like a photo stream of it. I don't think anybody wants to watch me shave.
Yeah.
It'll be before and after.
Yeah.
Yeah. All we need. We don't need the video.
Yeah, it's going to take me 3 months to get this back, man. I'm not as manly as you guys.
Patchy. Yeah.
They say it grows back better.
I don't work outside.
Yeah.
Well, I had a pretty good beard going until Thursday, and I trimmed it down to just a goatee. I couldn't have done 3 days of mask with a full beard. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Brenda Pence, one of the Bemidji crew, she asked, how many points is that muley behind you?
Yeah, 15. 15 scoreable points. So.
I mean, he really doesn't like to show it off, but he will.
Yeah. Yeah, 15 scoreable points. There's 1 inchers on the right antler. Big difference on sides, left and right sides are big scoreable difference. So I had a lot of deductions to it, but yeah. There's quite a few, like, speaking of that, there's quite a few mounts and sheds there. I was pretty impressed with them all. It was cool looking at them. I wish I would have brought a set of my sheds. I think it would have competed with some of the typical whitetail ones. Just looking at them visually, I'm pretty sure it would have competed with that one set that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Ended up with the bigger sets. I think it was a 138 or 148 or something like that. But maybe next year be something to think about. So
yeah. Jeremy Schaaf, who we finally got to meet this weekend, says tight race for a clean face. Yeah, man, what a kick between the legs. I thought I shot pretty good. I mean, here was the struggle, and I would say for me, I have a 3-pin slider, and it's set up for hunting, obviously, 20, 30, 35, and the 35 pin slides. So I'm not great. Like Mike Rinchler was ripping off numbers and how he can look at his slider and get those other numbers. Like I don't have that down. So I have a 20 and a 30. So it was kind of just, most of the targets were in like the 18 to 25 range. So it's just kind of guesstimating where that 20 pin should be. Which wasn't usually too bad. My biggest problem was if I looked at the next target before we went and shot that line, shot much better. If I forgot to look, I didn't have binos over there and couldn't find where the rings were. And we were talking to some guys that shoot 3D all the time, and they recognize target brand and animal, and they know where those rings are without even looking. And I just didn't. And we've talked about before, if you hunt those things like you're hunting, a lot of times you're gonna not ring. That's all I would say. It's just different between 3D hunting, 3D shooting and hunting on an animal. You hug that shoulder and that vital V, you're gonna be in the 8 or the 5 sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of those shots are either back of the lungs or liver, every single one. Which they say, you center it up and make it fine, is what the guys are telling me, But like that elk, for 38-yard shot, no binoculars, is laying down. We pinned them both me and Matt did, and you go up there, barely an 8, like not close, but it's just a little frustrating on that part. But what can you do? I mean, it's a dead elk either way.
Yeah, and we all shot it the same, obviously.
Yeah.
But those guys that are on here that are 3D shooting experts, you can beat us up if you want. It was just a ton of fun. Let's see, you got anything else that pops out in your mind from the weekend? Looks like we might have lost Ben. We'll see if he jumps back on or not.
Yeah, no, not really. No. As far as like funny things that happened, we found our way to the Sportscasters Bar and Grill there, and I don't know if they have a meat mandate or something in Lincoln, but it was quite the burger we had. Paper, but it was a good experience. It just I don't know. It was like a McSingle from McDonald's. I was telling Troy that we stopped at fast food on the way home, and it was 10 times better than that. But it was a fun time. We got to watch the games and everything, and just a good weekend. So
so then I'll just we'll talk more about what to expect from Middle American Outdoors going forward as far as like expos and stuff. We had a ton of people. So at our booth, we didn't have like a lot of marketing materials and stuff like the big shows. We happened to have a banner because we had it made when we were a part sponsor on a 3D shoot last fall. And so we had that banner, and obviously we have cards. We got some flyers made up for the show, and we have just general like smaller swag like koozies and stickers and whatever else that cost us a lot of money, but we're able to give that stuff out to people. But we had a lot of people asking for merch, and they were wanting to buy. So if you haven't seen a picture on our curtain, we had the banner up, and then we just filled it with our shirts, our hats from MAO that we get for the crew, basically, and some stuff from DSC and Fourth Arrow, since they were part sponsors and for the seminar and do sponsor us as far as our content. So a lot of people were asking about it, and that's something that maybe you can look forward to in the future. Need to do the legal part of that as far as being able to legally sell merch with tax ID and all that rigmarole. And it's just not something that I'm savvy in. Obviously, Ben's a little more savvy in the not-for-profit side, but probably going to lean hard on Chris and what he knows from Bro and from Big Red Outdoors and Racks and everything else to get that stuff in line. We would like to be able to sell merch in the future. If you guys are at the expos or you see us selling merch and you can buy it, I mean, it's going to help us the reason we would sell merch, just, I mean, we get the name out, but it helps us offset the cost of doing something like that. We've said before, we think it's really important that we are there because we provide a different platform and we provide a different aspect of the hunting community. And I think that was validated by the amount of people that wanted to talk to us about what we do at the expo. But can I justify that based on the amount of money it costs us to do that? It's really tough. So we would be selling merch throughout the year, not so that we can quit our day jobs, but so that we can afford to do stuff like the expos. For now, if we do continue, it would be the Nebraska Expo, since I would say we're based out of Nebraska since I'm here.
Yeah.
And we would hopefully be able to move on to Kansas and Iowa at some point, or even some other states. I don't know. But I do think you'll start to see us at local stuff, local banquets, hopefully. If we need to pay to be part sponsors. So if we sold merch, that's something you would help us pay for, is to be a part sponsor there so that we can get our cards and stuff out at local, pheasants and ducks and big game, conservation, whatever it's going to be. Again, it's not so that we can grow and we can quit our day jobs and be professional YouTubers or some crap. That's not going to happen. We're realistic. And most of us love what we do, so I don't think we'd want to quit doing it anyway. But it just helps us to offset that cost of getting our names out there and being a presence. I mean, we try to be a good presence in a pretty dark industry at sometimes, like there's some pretty dark stuff going on, especially with social media and how they treat people. Some of the shows, just the stuff that goes on is really hurtful for hunting. We're trying to be a different presence and not succumb to that. As my buddy said earlier that I was talking to, greed, that greed of sacrificing morals and ethics for growth. And we definitely don't want to do that. We're not going to do that, but we would really be helped, if we sold merch and people were able to buy it. And I'm going to be working on that, long story short. And hopefully you'll see us at the local banquets. Deer Supply Company will officially be at the Iowa Deer Classic this year in 2021. I need to talk to Jason. There's a chance that maybe some of us will be there to try to help with the Deer Supply Company booth and maybe be a little bit of a presence for Middle American Outdoors on the side from that. We'll see how that goes. I believe that's in March. I can't remember exactly, but I feel like it's in March. So you might be able to see us there. Deer Supply Company just got back up and running in 2021 after being shut down last year due to the pandemic and not being able to get spray bottles and all that stuff. So they're trying to jumpstart what they had going on. That's why we had their stuff in our booth, and that's basically their first little taste of Expo in 2021. And then you're going to see the actual gang, the Kephart family, Kindred Life crew at the Iowa Deer Supply or the Iowa Deer Classic. They'll have merch and they'll have all their products there as well. Let's see. Yeah, Ben says his phone died. We figured, dude. That's cool. We'll wrap up. Let's see what else here. Shayla Pence. Hey, new here, but my dad and mom watch all the time. There's another Bemidji crew, man. We got more friends along up in Bemidji now than we do
Here.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. That family's awesome. We appreciate your support. They share all of our stuff. They're constantly commenting. Love it. They've also been really lucky. They've won basically three prize packages, which will be going out soon. But it was Rhonda up there that won and Sheena that won in that family this time. So that stuff will be going out soon. They'll also be, I'll ask this. Those guys are going to take some of our flyers and cards and stuff and pass them around in their home area. If there's anybody else that listens to this and they're willing to help us out that way, let me know, and I will ship it your way, and I'll probably even get you some other stuff to thank you for it. Further the network goes, the more impact we can have, and We're always looking also to share people's content. If you want to try your hand at filming something, a review, some cool gear you got, just get in touch with me and we'll talk about basically our rules and expectations when it comes to doing reviews. And it's nothing like professional. You have to be an expert, this, that, or the other. It's more along the lines of kid friendly, that basically sums it up. Kid friendly, and we don't build our company on somebody else's back, so not tearing people down in your reviews. But anybody that's interested, just reach out, let us know. We'd be happy to work with you on it. That's all I got written down, man. You got anything burning on your brain?
Oh, just still, wore out from the weekend for sure. Long weekend. Woke up early Sunday, expected to sleep in, didn't get to. Just
That's
long drive.
Watch 2 hours of SpongeBob.
Yeah, I did. Not even any coffee. I opened up the coffee pot and it was just nastier. But it was.
You didn't want to go get the continental breakfast?
Outside. It was like 30 degrees outside and they had a damn coffee pot out there with cups.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that one. So we found a little diner, Firehouse Cafe, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
But
that's a good story. We cheaped out because our wives and kids weren't there, so we cheaped out on our overnight stays. When I'm checking in, the guy's explaining to me, "Do you see that little coffee table over there in this little tiny room?" I'm like, "Yeah." Okay, at 6 a.m, that's gonna be out there, and I'll put coffee and juice. That's for you. Like, we checked it out Saturday morning, and it was sitting out on the sidewalk. COVID friendly.
Yeah.
But we survived. I don't have any bed bugs or nothing. I don't think. Kind of itchy.
Just a little.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot about all that stuff. Yeah, nothing like recovering from 3 days of talking by sitting down and talking for an hour.
Yeah, days of work. Yeah, sure.
Well, this is a great time. Thanks for the people that were on. I know we've covered the Nebraska Deer Game Expo 3 weeks in a row, and I appreciate you guys still being on and interacting with us. And we did that. Next week, we will be diving back into actual content about hunting and outdoors. I've been talking to Matthew Reeves from Southern Pursuit. We'll be getting him back on here again soon for another episode on the self-filming. I talked to a gal out in, excuse me, north central Nebraska, who is a late bloomer hunter herself, and I've talked to her about getting her on. That'd be really cool to get, a female perspective, not just another late bloomer, but female perspective on it. And she's had some great success. She's in prime real estate though, but she's had some great success and pushed hard for it. That'd be cool to get her on here. I've got a list. We're always brainstorming. We've got a list of great guests to get on, and love to get Chris Edwards back on to talk more about just the conservation side and how he's active in that stuff. If you guys ever have any ideas or anything, let us know. We're happy to have you guys on too. You've seen that we've had other MAO followers on to tell us about their big hunts and stuff. We're happy to do that. We plan to continue to do this every week. It's probably going to continue to be Monday nights at 8 unless something changes down the road. But anyway, we thank you for being on. I will rip this content and move it over to a podcast so you can catch it anytime. Make sure you're sharing it and pushing that stuff. We are working more at plugging that. We really appreciate when people subscribe and like and help things move up the algorithm so it's shared with other people. Share it with your friends. Leave ratings and reviews on our platforms. That helps it to be shared with others as well. It doesn't cost you all anything, and we really appreciate when you do that stuff. So, yeah, thanks guys for being on. Thanks, Jake, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Peace out.